Hi, I'm John Edmiston, and this is session 4 of time management for Christian disciples, and time is slipping away. This is the last session, and we'll be looking at how to achieve a major goal. You'll need your sheets, the sheets that you're doing in your workbook, which you can get from cybermissions.org/3col. And you will need the 3-column planner. We'll be using some parts out of the front of the book. If you go to the front of the 3-column planner, you'll see all these helpful things in there. Introduction, how to use this planner, how to set priorities for your tasks, 11 simple planning questions, and 6 steps to project innovation, how to deal with a stressful schedule, and how to plan your week. Well, we'll be mainly dealing with 11 simple planning questions and 6 steps to project innovation, which will be in your book. Okay, so the first thing, as we said about goal setting and as you said about trying to achieve a major goal, is to make sure that your goal is from the Lord. Some of our goals that we set ourselves, or the world commonly sets us, are not particularly from God. Things like owning a BMW 7 or looking like a supermodel, they're not particularly goals that are resonant with the scriptures. The scriptures tell us not to love the world or the things of the world, because how can the love of the Father be in you? And so the goals that scripture says for us are more the goals of relationship. Loving the Lord our God with all our heart and mind and strength, loving our neighbour as ourselves, being of service to others, sharing the gospel, being diligent in your work, doing quality work for your employer, things like that. Goals that are godly and constructive and which produce a good day's work as a nurse or an engineer, or which produce ministry results. And so you want to achieve a major goal that is worthy and of the Lord. Now let me just for a minute probably touch on a hot topic here. So many New Year's resolutions and goals involve losing weight. Now, I have been doing pastoral counselling for 30 years. I've seen a lot of people try to lose weight, and I've seen some terrible eating disorders such as anorexia and bulimia, particularly when I was running a counselling centre in Australia. And so losing weight has become an obsession, and 80% of people who try to lose weight, especially through crash dieting, just regain the weight. And it destroys people's sense of self-esteem, and because they use their willpower and it doesn't get them anywhere, so they give up on setting other goals. Because they've set this major goal of losing 30 or 40 pounds, they don't make that, and so they don't do sensible goal setting, for instance, paying off the credit cards. So losing weight is not in the Bible as a goal. God's happy with you the way you are. Of course, you might have to lose weight if your doctor says you've got diabetes or heart trouble and things like that. I'm not totally panning the idea, but I'm saying as the most common goal, it's probably the wrong goal to be right up the top of the list. There are better goals than losing weight. Okay, so make sure your goal is of God, glorifies God. It's not worldly, it's not sinful. You're not aiming to rob the bank or anything like that. Now we're going to use a 6-step process here. I developed it when I was doing cyber missions projects for computer programming and setting up internet cafes and unreached people groups and other innovative things where we had to run projects and adapt them to a local environment. And the 6-step process is explore, discover, dream, design, deliver, review, and redo. Explore, discover, dream, design, deliver, redo, and review the project. So this is an adaptation of appreciative inquiry, which is developed by David Cooper-Ryder at Case Western University. So just remember that term, appreciative inquiry. There's a thin book of appreciative inquiry and some other books there that will help you with that process if you're very interested in it. But as you're going towards the goal, first you start with the big and you narrow it down and narrow it down and narrow it down, and then you finally get this focus and you drive through to completion. So in your goal setting, explore all the options out there. Look around. Maybe it's been done already. Maybe you're just reinventing the wheel. Maybe the software you want's already there on SourceForge or something like that, so you don't need to do it. So explore around and do your research and do your homework, or as in academic world, do your literature review. And after you've done your exploring, discover the one thing you need to do. The one thing that will make everything else easier or not essential at all. It'll just, you will be set if you can do this one thing or this one project to achieve this one goal. So you might look at your finances, you might want to get your finances in order, and you discover that if you can consolidate all your high interest credit cards into a low interest car loan, as many banks and credit unions allow you to do, and you can go from 19% to 1.5%, that's going to help you. Aha, you've discovered something. There's your solution to your problem. After you discover, you dream. Now, just say you're going to build an orphanage in Mexico. You dream what the orphanage is going to do. You say, okay, this is what it's going to do. In your mind, you can see the kids attending and getting saved and getting healed and being healthy and learning their schoolwork and learning the Bible. And you can see that, and you can see the dream, and you want to see the dream as clearly as possible. Once you've discovered the one thing you're doing, get a very clear spiritual picture there, pray about it, talk to others about it, get a small group that becomes your group of encouragers. It might be your family, it might be beyond your family, but you're dreaming about this orphanage in Mexico that you're going to build. And you get that clear, and that becomes your driving force as you go forward. After you've dreamed, you have to design. And you want to design right down to the last detail. So you go down to the land in Mexico, you say, we're going to build this here, it's going to look like this, we're going to have 18 rooms, we're going to have this, we'll have a basketball court, and we're going to get these, all these things, and you get a clear picture of what you're doing. Now, once in the design stage, you're drawing up a plan that you can share with other people. Once you've got the design, then you can bring in the architects, and then you can bring in the engineers, and you can bring in the bulldozer driver who's going to level the ground. You're going to build in the contractors, but you need the design if you're going to achieve your goal, and you want to design very carefully and well. And at some points you might need professional help, such as an attorney or an architect or so on, if you're building something big like an orphanage. But other things, even if it's just a church event, you want to think through that church event. How's it going to work out? What's the time period allotted, and what are we going to do at each point in that church event? So you want to have a very clear idea of where you're going in the design stage. After you've designed, you have to deliver it. Now, in the delivery stage, you have to ask questions like who, what, when, where, why, how, and how much. And there, all those 11 questions are listed in the front of the 3-column planner in the 11 important questions section that we've got there. So there's the 7 questions, the 5 W's and the 2 H's, and then there's the 4 other questions: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, that come with a SWOT analysis. We're not going into a SWOT analysis in this video. That's for much bigger projects. But for most projects, you ask, who do you want involved? Why are you doing this project? What are the resources that you need? Where should it happen? You know, where are you going to build it? And so on. And then you ask how and how much. How are you going to do it, and how much is it going to cost? So we write those questions down on a piece of paper, you put them up on a whiteboard, you gather people together, and you've answered those questions. You've now starting the process of delivering it. And as you move towards delivering it, you say, oh, wait a second, we've only got 3 of the 4 people we need. Where can we find the other one? As you list these things and go through it, you will find that this is where you start to encounter the obstacles and the difficulties, where you have to pay resources in, but at least you've got an idea of all the pieces and components of the puzzle. Now, for the SWOT analysis, which I'll cover very briefly, that's about strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So look at your group, look at your resources, say what are our strengths and what are our weaknesses. Do we need some more people here? Do we need some extra skills? That's the weakness side. What are your strengths? Do you have enthusiasm? Do you have a great prayer life in your group? What's the strengths of the people inside the organization? And for the O and the T, opportunities and threats, they're external. What are the opportunities if this evangelistic outreach succeeds? What are the threats to the evangelistic outreach? It might be weather. If it's outdoors, it might be getting a permit from the city. So what are the things that could shut it down? So you want your 5 W's and your 2 H's, and then the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats of your project or your major goal. So once you've delivered it, you're in the delivery phase now, you roll it out and you do a prototype and you keep testing and retesting, and this is where we come to review and redo. Particularly for things like evangelistic events, you say, okay, we're going to do a tent crusade in the local park, and you run it, and year 1, the rock band you get is just dreadful. They're terrible, they turn up late, they're always tuning up their guitars, and it's and oh my goodness. So next year you review and redo, and you don't bring that rock band back to the tent crusade in the park, and you decide that you're going to have them practice well before the event and make sure they're not playing tune-up instead of what they need to be playing. So you fix the glitches, and the next time round it's going to be better. Things like food and catering, often the first time round you either have too much or too little. You learn as you go along. I used to do a lot of Christian camps, and after a while you got the rhythm of it, but the first 3 or 4 camps was always a bit of struggle to get all the catering right and this right and that. So you review and redo. So after each event, it's a very good idea to have a debriefing time, and you just take it as you don't take it personally. You say, okay, next time we do this, we're going to do better. How can we do it better? Receive the criticisms graciously, and then go back and improve. So those 6 steps again: explore to see if it's been done already or if it needs doing or what's the best way to do it. Discover the one thing that's going to that you're going to run with as your goal, and which is going to make all the difference. Dream, so you're clear. Design down to the tiniest detail. Then deliver what you're doing. Get into the process of asking the 5 W's and the 2 H's, and then review and redo. So that's how you deliver a major project, and at the end of it, make sure you celebrate. Make sure you say, yes, God got us through. This is terrific. Our evangelistic crusade went really well. We're going to do this again next year. And so you breathe a sigh of relief and you get the energy from your celebration. So that's how to achieve a major goal. That's the end of our series. This is the 3-column planner, and this is John Edmiston signing off. God bless.